So, yeah, we're just we've been walking around, like, asking a lot of, like, prominent people in this kind of conservative CPAC area here about the problem with social media, as well as big tech's control over, like, the narrative that's portrayed on these social media platforms, as well as the kind of the influence they have on our culture. And do you think that, obviously, you as a social media personality, do you think that social media is helping us spread our message, or do you think that in a way it's starting to become more of a negative thing where because they're able to control the narrative, say the algorithms that allow certain kinds of speech, that it's actually putting people into more like echo chambers and limiting the way that we can interact with each other?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that, because if you followed my page when I first started, the things I used to be able to post that wouldn't get taken down and wouldn't get censored for it were very much more informative. They were a lot more dank, as they call it, edgy, stuff like that. And now and people are like, oh, you're posting normie memes, boomer memes. It's like, dude, I have spent 5 years of my life building this. Mm-hmm. And for me to post one thing and get it removed because it goes against their standards is the problem. And that is what I am fighting, so that I can speak freely and not have to do that. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to go ahead and just go, okay, well, might as well just get rid of my page by this one meme that I know I'm not allowed to post. So my biggest thing is, what are we going to do to stop the censorship? The censorship is making it an echo chamber. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. And I try my best to put in little ad-libs for people to like, okay, I need to think more about this. I can't say, hey, you need to go check out the deep state and you need to do your research. Yeah. But I want people to go do that. Mm-hmm. How do I say that without Instagram's algorithm? Matter of fact, they just got caught by Project Veritas for actually, the documents show that they are censoring conservatives. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I think that was just the other day. Right?
That was like, 3 days ago. And what happened was they have a document that goes after right-wing words, right-wing sayings. So Zuck, Cuck, BTFO, stuff like that. And if you say that, the top data manager at Facebook has created the algorithm to censor, deplatform those kinds of words, people, whatever. That alone is the problem. And then you had Zuckerberg on Capitol Hill saying he's not doing that. Well, your data manager if you don't know your data manager did that, you're not in control of your company, man.
I don't think he is
so,
either,
no.
So, as that's obviously an issue, what should we do about it? Should it be a free market solution that we come up with? Like, for example, a lot of these blockchain technologies are working on creating alternative sources for social media, or should the government intervene, say with like antitrust lawsuits and things like that?
This is the way I see it. All right, so it's already illegal in the United States to discriminate somebody against their color, religion, creed, whatever it might be. You cannot discriminate against somebody. Why can we not do that for political affiliation as well? Any business in the United States cannot for example, any restaurant in the United States, if you're black, you can go in there and eat, versus back in the South, you couldn't, there was separate restaurants and all that. Can't do that anymore. It's discrimination, and it's disgusting, and it's wrong. It was wrong then, and it's wrong now. Now it's just political bias. Yep. We are treated absolutely awful, and it's absolutely unacceptable. So that's how I feel about that. I think discrimination laws need to include political bias as well.
Yeah, and then so on a final note, like the other like really big issue with social media is privacy breaches. So they are collecting all of our data. They're listening to us constantly. That seems to me like something that would almost be more important than even the bias, because it's going to be directly infringing on our Fourth Amendment rights. So what do you think we should do about that, if anything?
You're right, but at the same time, when you sign up to use Instagram, Facebook, you're accepting. Yeah, you're accepting their terms and conditions. I think that's wrong, 100%. But it's also, we're using their app, and then another thing that people argue is like, oh, you're using their app, so they can censor you. It's like, I'm accepting the terms and conditions. I'm not accepting to be censored and or have my information collected. But personally, when it comes to the information collection, that's a very dangerous step. That's something that scares me. But I don't know, man. You tell me. What do you think the solution is?
I think just like taking it back to like they're private corporations, but they're really not, because they work with the government, like in all forms, like the NSA. Right. They work directly with Google. They collect all the data. There's all kinds of government contracts that they sign. Right. Amazon just signed a government contract with the CIA for like $600 million or something like that. Yeah. So it seems to me that despite that these are maybe corporations, right, because they're working with the government and because they're definitely sharing data with the government, I think that it is an infringement on our Fourth Amendment rights, although we are clicking accept on it. The government, you can't just sign a contract with the government saying that they can, listen to all of your conversations and know everything about you, know where you are constantly, track your phone, and do all these things. So
what do we do to fix it?
Well, the only feasible solution that I see would be to create a free market alternative. And the only thing that I see that it's not ready right now, but I think blockchain technology will eventually take over in that respect in regard to privacy. People will be able to control their own data and be able to accept, hey, I'll use...
Oh, so you mean like an actual software that protects your data when you're on these sites?
No.
Is that what you mean?
So imagine for a second if you could agree, say there's this blockchain social media platform, and you could agree
when you say
to use
blockchain, what do you mean by blockchain?
So blockchain is like the underlying technology of Bitcoin. All right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so Ethereum's the same way, and they offer a smart contract capability. So what could potentially be built on these platforms is a social media company where you would have the option to either pay for it so that it could run the system, or you could say, oh, I want this for free, but they would get to keep all your data. So you'd be incentivized to use this thing because if you wanted to sell your data, because on Facebook, you're the product.
Right.
You're the one that is making them all their money.
Right.
And so if we had an alternative where people could get paid to share their data. So you're getting paid directly to share your data. Facebook isn't getting paid to share our data with all of the other companies. Right? So it's individual. If somebody wants my data...
It's very capitalist of you. I like that.
Yeah, right? It seems to me like a free market solution. Blockchain is still a new technology. It's not really as developed yet. It's not feasible yet. But I think if we start promoting this blockchain technology on social media and start moving to other platforms, that will actually be able to start a base there and incentivize people to go to these other platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get your information. Let's talk.